Hey, what is up guys? So we're going to be opening up the starter pack here and a single pack. Both of these are definitely very exciting ones I really want to open up because at least in the new Bakugan, Nillious is one of my most favorite Bakugan, and from the old series I'm a big fan of Hydranoid, so seeing it in an Ultra form in this particular version of Bakugan is definitely very exciting. So yeah, we're going to open up these two packs. You know, I did say that it wasn't best to buy single packs, but I managed to get both of these on discount, so it's really good. I just basically waited out for a sale to occur, and yeah, I just went off to the department store and found these two that I was particularly interested in. So very excited to open this up. Maybe we'll start off by opening up the starter pack first, and we'll see what we actually get in this. But yeah, very exciting to get the Nillious. Alright, so I'm actually going to try and open up these, and we'll see what they are. Alright, so this looks like an Aurelus Trox, very nice, very interesting indeed. So let's actually take a closer look at this. Definitely looks really nice here. Very fantastic. Now, the B power is only 300, which is obviously very surprising for an Aurelus Bakugan. But I guess we'll see what the actual card itself has, and it might actually turn out pretty well. The next Bakugan we have is a Chaos, which is definitely one of the more rare types of Bakugan I find to get. So this one, wow, this one actually looks pretty interesting. I have no idea what this is. I think this might be Cindius because it has this thing that pulls out. I believe it's Cindius. 200 B power, not the greatest, but with Chaos, you don't really expect much in B power. So definitely very nice. And of course, we got to take a look here at Hydranoid Ultra. Definitely very phenomenal in terms of how it actually looks. I mean, just look at this design. It's amazing. Loving it all. This is a whopping 700 B power. For an Aquas Bakugan, that is quite amazing. So definitely doesn't disappoint. I love the 5 heads that it actually has. I think you could even separate, can it? No, not really. But even so, definitely a really nice design. And of course, as you know, with Ultras, they have the potential to jump up when they hit Baku cores, allowing you to potentially pick up additional Baku cores as well. So definitely very nice here. This particular combination of Aquas, Chaos, and Aurelus is definitely very interesting. Aurelus is obviously a nice support for any type of deck, but to have Aquas and Chaos together, I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. Aquas actually has a bunch of flow cards, which means they're obviously going to be mostly cheap to actually allow you to make the most use out of flow, whereas Chaos also has different action cards that are also low cost as well, allowing you to actually complement both particular attributes very well when actually building a deck out of it. So I'm definitely going to be trying that particular build out, and I'll see how it goes. I won't guarantee that I'll have both in the same deck, of course, but it is definitely going to be very exciting. So aside from that, we already saw all these Baku cores. Definitely very interesting in terms of what we managed to get out of them. I mean, we have the 4 green fists out of it, which is definitely pretty disappointing. I'm not really fond of the green fists because the stats are just pretty bad in that one. But this and, you know, regular shield and magic shield both are decent. So, well, magic shield's actually really amazing. So as we can see there, definitely happy to get that. So now let's actually take a look at the cards that we actually got here. So First off, we have Hydranoid Ultra. So as you can see, 2 green fists, not particularly amazing, but you can also get an additional 200 if you land on a green fist Bakugan, which will be very nice indeed. 700 B power as a raw stat line is very strong. 1 damage, not too big of a deal, but potentially 901, that is going to be very strong. You could combine that with Darkus or Pyrus to increase the damage, and ultimately you get a really strong Bakugan to contend here. So we're obviously getting 3 copies, of course, but very happy about this particular Bakugan here. Definitely well designed in terms of stats and also design itself. So next we have here, alright, so it's not Cyndius, I actually made a mistake. This is Zentor. So Zentor actually has Magic Shield and Green Fists. We have a skill here called Underdog. When this opens, if it has a lower B power than the opposing Bakugan, you may play a Chaos Titan Zentor for free. So I think we're going to be getting a Titan Zentor from our from one of the ability cards or action cards later on. So 200, definitely very weak, makes the most use out of the Underdog skill, which is definitely something that's brand new here. And we also have 6 damage, which is quite amazing. So very excited to see what the actual Titan Zentor will be. Definitely reminds me a lot of Cyndius. So, you know, based on the design of you being able to pull out the sword from its arm. So yeah, and of course we have Trox. 305, not amazing, and even if you play an action card, you only get plus 100 and plus 2. However, playing it with Aquas, because like I said, they're cheap. So the action cards, if you're playing a bunch of them in one turn, you could constantly keep adding on 100 over and over and over. Aquas has a lot of 1 cost and 2 cost cards, so even 0 cost cards. So if you just keep throwing them down, you could play up to like 5 or maybe even 6 on an ideal turn, ultimately increasing this by like 600, of course, and then on top of that, the action cards itself will increase the stats of Trox. So, surprisingly, things could turn out well if you play it right. So, definitely well thought out in terms of just the starter deck, the starter pack alone, because the Bakugan definitely do make up a pretty decent team there. So, this will be pretty fun and exciting. And now let's actually look at the skill cards we're actually getting here. So we have here, I guess this is going to be Liquid Darts, but no, it's actually called Liquid Darts. This is the actual English version of it, so Liquid Darts. An action card, 3 cost. Pretty high for an Aquas card, but yeah, it's not too bad. Aurelus Power, plus 400, very nice. If you have an Aurelus Bakugan on your team, this costs 2 less energy to play. Alright, so that's really amazing. Pretty much becomes a 1 cost. Works well with Trox, and also just boosts up your Bakugan because you managed to get this on your team. So I really like this card. Kind of promotes you playing Aurelus in Aquas decks here. Definitely very nice. Next we have here Shining Light, a 3 cost. Let's see, so this is 4 damage. If you have 3 or more hero cards in play, you get plus 8 instead. Obviously, it's going to be very interesting seeing how things go. Hero cards, very interesting because obviously we don't really play hero cards as much as you might think. So I am very curious as to whether or not I can even incorporate this into a particular deck where I can abuse that many hero cards in the deck. And lastly, we have here, wow, we actually don't have an upgraded version of this, so that's kind of making it almost pointless there. We're going to have to try and actually look for the Titan Zentor, so that's kind of unfortunate. However, we actually have an Aurelus action card. Very surprising. I've never actually expected that Aurelus would get an action card, but I guess it is. So, let's see here. We have Battle Mastery, choose one. plus 300 or plus 4. So gives you a choice. Very nice for 2 cost. That's that's pretty decent. So yeah, that's definitely very exciting here. And of course we have these 2 books as well. But yeah, loving this lineup. So now that we've actually opened up all of these, let's actually open up the Nillious Ultra. We still have that to go. Alright, so I just cleared up everything inside, so now let's actually make room to open up Nillious Ultra here. Wow, alright, so over here we have our Nillious Ultra, definitely very exciting. Ever since Nillious came out in the core version, I've always been curious to know how it actually looks like in Ultra form, so very glad to actually see this design. Look at this, you could even pull down these to give it some claws as well, giving it a more real effect. And these arms here can actually move as well. Very nice indeed. Wow, look at that. The detail is quite amazing. You could actually get out the arms quite far, so it will ultimately look more realistic here. And of course you have these 2 heads which are much longer than what you would usually see. Very nice. What else can we actually do here? Any other functions? It does seem weird to stand up like this. Makes it quite difficult because it obviously can't stand. So that's kind of one unfortunate thing I have here. But yeah, definitely very interesting. So if we take a look around here close up, you can actually see this detail of the Bakugan itself, which is definitely quite amazing. So yeah, definitely loving this. Very well done. Wow, actually, what, 200 B power? That's definitely a big surprise. Let's actually put this aside right here. Let's open up these pack of cards because we could still get the ability card, and I want to know what we actually got here. So very carefully, let's just cut this open and pull out these cards. So right here we have 2 regular shields, of course, we already saw them. 206, but potentially if it lands on a regular shield it becomes plus 400. So it will ultimately become a 606, which makes it much better. Moving on, of course, we have our cards that we get here. Very interesting. Wow, this is actually a super rare card. That's amazing. I didn't think we would actually get a super rare in these packs here, but you essentially get to take control of a hero. Wow, you actually get to take your opponent's hero. That's very good. Shadow Breath. I think that's not too bad. I mean, it's obviously not going to be that prevalent because you don't really see hero cards that much, but even so, this is definitely going to be very exciting here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this particular opening. Very exciting, of course, to see all these different Bakugan. There's just, it just blows your mind every time you buy some new Bakugan and you realize that they've really revolutionized the actual design of the actual toy itself, really, and it's definitely very sophisticated, that's for sure. Could get very complicated in terms of how to close it up, especially the ultras here. So hopefully I know what I'm doing, because I don't want to actually break these Bakugan, you know. But I have no idea. I mean, it looks really, really iffy on what I'm actually doing here. I'm obviously trying to figure out how to close this, and if I don't do it correctly, you end up pretty much breaking this. So yeah, let me try and figure it out. Probably fast forward this so you guys won't have to actually suffer watching me actually try to close this up. Alright, well, definitely let me know your thoughts on these particular Bakugan. Do you actually like all of their designs? Really a big fan of Nillious, of course, but at the same time, I'm also a very big fan here of Hydranoid as well. Hopefully I can get a darkest version of this. It'll be really fun there. but all of these definitely very excited to actually get them up and running in my decks. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.